Morning, my name's Steve and welcome to the Seaside Allotment channel. I'm just walking down to my plot and it's a windy, cloudy September day up here in the northwest of the UK, and it's time for another plot tour. So we'll start with the compost. So I've got 3 cubic meters of compost here. It's all been turned 3 or 4 times now. It needs to be turned again this week. It's currently all about 50 degrees and it's looking reasonable. It's away from, this one's quite a long way away from finished. It's just over 50 degrees. Probably needs 2 more turns. This one is looking pretty good. It's about ready to go into the plastic bins. Stay in there for a few months while it finishes. And this one is also looking pretty good. It's hard to read, that's just under 50 degrees. It will benefit from a turn. So I always finish in these bins. So basically I work from these bins. I leave this compost that I've just shown you once it's kind of cooled down to about 40 degrees after probably 5 or 6 turns. Pop it into these plastic bins, leave it for about 3 months, and then it's pretty much ready. And I only use it for top dressing because it is still a little bit woody, so it's better as a top dress, as you can see. You know, these little bits of wood, best not dig those into the soil, but since I do no dig anyway, it's fine. So let's have a look at the garden then. So I've got some beets here. I was growing these as a trial to see how well they keep. These are Cheltenham green top, but by October I think this is going to be a bit big, so I might end up eating these now rather than leaving them. So I've got some carrots here. Now these are resistor fly. I normally grow my carrots under cover, but these resistor fly, well, let's see how well they've done. It's pretty nice. No damage at all from carrot root fly. And we do get quite a bit of carrot root fly here, basically, being an allotment, everybody does. But that's pretty good, pretty pleased with that. Now I do also water with nematodes, so that might also be something to do with it, but yeah, pretty pleased with that. It's just a little experiment there with resistor fly, see how it does. I've got some lovely spring onions here, and it's quite a big bed. They do tend to get a bit bashed around by the wind, unfortunately. When I grow them in my cold frames, they're much better because that's some protection from the wind. So this bed is now all different Oriental Greens, and again I'm just experimenting here with planting these direct into the ground. This is my usual mix. Basically it's the compost that I just talked about, about 1 inch I put on here and then I planted into that, and as you can see there's still a little bit of wood in here, and that's why I only use it as a top dress. So I've also got all the same Oriental Greens growing in modules. I want to see how they compare. And then I've got my beets. Now this bed here is basically my red beets for storage this year, and I've chosen these Cylindra. I had some last year, they kept amazingly well, so I'm concentrating my red beet storage on Cylindra. Really pleased with those. So a few of them will be too big probably, and obviously a few of them will be too small, but there's a fairly big bed, so that should keep us mostly going, and I'll show you the rest of those later. So this is my chard bed. We've been eating this for 2 or 3 months now, but it was getting a bit straggly and going to seed a bit, so I've cut it down and it's coming back quite nicely. So hopefully this bed will be rejuvenated within a couple of weeks, and it'll keep us going until the main bed, which is on Jenny's plot, kicks in. So pretty pleased with that. These are my raspberries, planted them this year, and they're doing pretty well. They're not the best tasting raspberries this season, but maybe next season they'll get a little bit better. And these are the autumn fruiters, and looks like a really nice crop on those as well, especially for the first year, so I'm really pleased with those. These are the summer fruiters. So my gooseberries all got sawfly, and basically the sawfly just went through them like instantly. I mean, it was just a couple of days and all the leaves had gone, and it was quite a blow really, but hopefully they will come back next year. People have told me that they do. It's hard to believe when they've lost all the leaves like this, but anyway, just fingers crossed. And then there we go, still more gooseberries completely stripped bare. Really quite upsetting. So I did have black currants here, and I've just, with Debbie's help, finished digging these out, and I've dug them out because, well, I don't like black currants. We've got loads of black currants on Debbie's plot, and this is just a great location here for another hotbed. There's my first hotbed, and I'm going to dig down about a foot into the soil, and then sink one of my wooden bases down, and then build up like I have that one. And then what I'm planning to do is get a delivery of wood chips, which you can get for free, and actually build up this part of the plot by about 6 inches, so it will cover the first layer of this, which means that the first foot and a bit of the hotbed will be really well insulated. So that'll be an interesting experiment to see how that works. And I'll save the greenhouse for a bit later. So this is one of my new coal frames that I've just finished, and these lettuces, I was having a lot of problems with damping off because it's just been so rainy here this summer, and so I decided to put the top on. It's way too early really, but as a result I haven't lost a single lettuce in this bed since I did that, so I've been really pleased with that. Now what you can see here though is one of the downsides of using my own compost. Quite a lot of weed seeds, because this is horse manure, and obviously in the horse manure the horses have eaten grass. The grass seeds haven't been killed, and so this year I've done a bit more focus on the hot composting to try and kill all the weed seeds. So this is last year's compost, so we'll see. What I've also done is bought £35 worth of spent mushroom compost, which I'm going to put on the top of most of my beds. So I'm going to put 1 inch of my own compost, which is hyper nutritious, and I'm going to put 1 inch of spent mushroom compost, which isn't as nutritious but is a better weed suppressant mulch. So this bed's been direct seeded, and you can see here's spring onions. Now these are the spring onions that are going to overwinter. Last year I ran out of spring onions, so I didn't have enough to go all the way through to spring when the spring crops came. So this year I've put these 3 rows of spring onions in, which will give us another month and a bit's supply, so hopefully we won't run out, because I've planted some spring onions in the hotbed. So yeah, I really like spring onions, and this year we've had them all year round since about March time I think, and now maybe April. so hopefully this will see us through to April. A few radishes, some pak choi, and that's that bed done. So here's the last stragglers of the spring planted spring onions. I'll just open this bed up, and as you can see, grown really big and really bad wind damage and a bit of rust on them as well. Again, it's just too windy here by the seaside. They just can't self-support, and so they just fall over like this. But in the cold frames they do much better. So there's one of my carrot beds. So this bed is for storage. So leeks, disaster. Basically, pretty much, well, not all of them, but a good 20% of them have gone to seed. So don't know why, but hold on, just got to talk to my wife. I'm back. So Debbie's just off to the tip. So anyway, there we go, gone to seed. So I'm not really sure why, and I'll just do a bit of research on that. So some more radishes and lots of spinach. So I'm really pleased to be eating spinach again. We don't grow it in the summer, and so it's really nice to have it, and it's beautiful and crispy. And just popped in a few little gem lettuces, and they're motoring along very nicely, and there's some more spinach there and some radishes, so those radishes will be out soon and give that spinach a bit of room. So then I've got another bed of carrots here, which are doing nicely again. So again, this is another bed for storage. And then I've got some salad rocket here. I don't need a huge amount of salad rocket because it's quite a very vigorous plant. And then we've got some more spinach here. As you can see, we're quite fans of spinach, and we've got a lot more than this as well. I did originally have this as carrots, but it's just such terrible germination of carrots this year. I don't know why again. So then this is one of the lettuces that we're currently eating from, and this will soon be cleared because we'll be switching over to the autumn lettuces, but and replanting this bed from seedlings that we've got in the greenhouse. I mean, it looks beautiful now, but plants are too mature to last through winter, so they need to come out. So this is the youngest of my carrot beds, but they should get through. This should be a decent size by winter. And then in here I've got some more radish, which are just coming through, and a whole load of spinach beet that I've just planted, and so that's pretty good, although it looks like I've lost one plant there already. It doesn't strictly need to be under the netting, spinach beet, but it does mean I can easily pop some fleece over it if I need to in winter. So then I've got my this is golden beetroot, which we absolutely love. We like it more than the red beetroot, and the leaves are fantastic as well. Better quality leaves on this. It's more like a spinach beet leaf, but they're coming on nicely, so these will be great for storage. And then I've got some chicory here, and it's a Whitloff chicory, and primarily designed for growing chicons for Christmas, basically around Christmas time. So you basically, if you don't know what chicons are, you take the roots of these and you trim the roots, and then you plant them just in compost, and then you take them somewhere warm. So you chop the tops off about here, plant the roots, and then new plants grow, but they don't grow like this. They grow these really dense little chicones, so really fresh, crunchy salad leaf. I've got some kale here. Not the best, but it's still good, and it's still convenient to have some on my plot. The main kale is on Debbie's plot and Jenny's plot, but sometimes nice just to have a little bit on mine. If I'm picking a smoothie mix or something like that, it means I can pick the whole thing from my plot. So then we've got some more carrots, and carrots at the other end, and in the middle we've got parsnips. And I won't bother opening this bed because it's quite difficult to close. This bed has been fed with some seaweed extract, and I got it for free as a trial, and wow, it's amazing how these things have grown, just huge. So hopefully they'll be great for storage. And so here I have another little experiment. If you've been watching my series of videos, you'll know that this was a bed of French beans, and it was really early. We started end of May, I think, eating these, but by the end of July they were pretty ragged. So I popped in another crop, and I'm hoping that with them being under this little hoop tunnel, I can keep growing these, you know, well into certainly to very much the end of autumn and maybe early winter. So I'm just going to see whether I can keep them going. It's just another experiment, as you can tell. I just really like experimenting. And I've just got a little row of radishes down here, which are also doing very nicely. But very pleased with the way these are looking. Looking very healthy. Of course, the downside is lots of watering when you put these covers on. So this is my 2-year-old asparagus bed, and it's not really done that great this year, mostly because of the wind. It's just been horrendous this year with the wind, and you can see this end is doing much better than that end, so you can pretty much tell the prevailing wind direction, but I'll do a much better job of supporting this next year. So this bed is another interesting little experiment. So this is my first time growing sweet potatoes, and as you can see, it's looking pretty lush, starting to flower, which is really nice. It's going to be a sea of flowers this soon, and give you a bit better view of it. Look at that, really great. And sweet potatoes is so nutritious, and they also keep well, so I'm pretty excited about that. We just pulled up our main crop, well, the first of our main crop potatoes as well, King Edwards, and they were really good. Got a lovely crop of those. So we've just got the Sapamira to pull up now later on, the end of September. So this is another bed. This is the hot bed, which isn't hot now, and then this is beets. This is golden beets, and again they are looking really fantastic. They're so succulent, these, not woody at all, even when they're this size, no woodiness. Let's pull up that nettle. Yeah, so I'm really happy with these. Should have a fantastic crop, and I shall be growing beetroot again in this hotbed, planting in February, at the beginning of February. So I shall almost certainly have beetroot again by the time I run out of the ones I've got in store. And so here I've got my chicory, I don't need a huge amount of chicory. This is enough. We'll just provide some crunch for the winter salads. So these are growing pretty good. They might need a bit of thinning out. And then this is the beetroot bed that we're currently eating from. And I can't really see it. It's not really worth looking, but I mean they're good size, really good size. Even the ones that are just above, maybe 1.5 tennis ball sizes, are still really nice. So I'm very pleased with those. And then we've got runner beans, and we've got so many beans this year that we're leaving this whole frame to go to seed. We're going to dry all of those seeds, and so that will provide a nice store of winter protein. So as you can see, it's going to be a pretty impressive amount of beans that come off this. And next year, this bed, I'm going to take beans out. I'm not going to grow beans here next year, and it's going to provide me with another really big growing area. So I'm quite excited with what I can grow there. And as soon as this bean frame comes down, into this is going to go lamb's lettuce, which I'll be growing in modules. So it's going to provide me with a fantastic crop of lamb's lettuce. So this bed's almost ready for planting. In fact, this week probably this New Zealand spinach will come out, and it's grown fantastically, but we've got plenty of New Zealand spinach on Debbie's plot. So most of this is going to get blanched and frozen, and we picked about 4 or 5 2-litre containers to give away to friends and family. And so quite a lot of work here to freeze all this, but it's absolutely amazing. New Zealand spinach, absolutely fantastic. It's great in salads, and it's great for cooked as well. And this is another thing I'm going to attempt to grow in the hotbed early, because it's just been so good. So then I've got some lamb's lettuce in here. This mesh is just here just to keep the birds off, and it will be replaced by a polythene lid soon. But it's going pretty well. I'm really pleased with that. It does need a bit of a thin, but Ruger's lamb's lettuce is just so fantastic in winter salads. And then that bed's going to be planted up today or tomorrow. So this is another one of my winter lettuce beds. I'm not actually sure I'm going to leave these lettuces around the outside in. I might do. We'll see how they go. I might replace them with new lettuces. This bed's bull's blood. So the first 3 rows are bull's blood. We're going to grow these for baby leaf salad leaves. And then here I've got pak choi. It's all pak choi. It's just different stages of growth. So it is already looking lovely. So I should start picking that next week. So again, it's lovely salad leaf, winter salad leaf. Well, it probably doesn't make it to winter actually, but certainly an autumn salad leaf. But we will say it might make it to winter. Got some more spring onions here, and these aren't far off being ready. And this is another one of the salad beds we're currently growing. So this is what a salad bed should really look like. So this is Salanova red and greens, looking fantastic. This is bijou, absolutely gorgeous in salads. These lovely and crunchy. There's some winter density here, and then I've got some brassicas here, and they're interplanted just with temporary salads as well. There's a whole range of different brassicas kind of mixed in here. It's a bit of a mess really, but it is what it is. I think we'll just step over here and have a look at, so this is an early strawberry, and it's done pretty well. I'm just taking runners at the moment. I've got about 20 runners coming off this one, and then this is a perpetual, so it has an early strawberry crop and then it has a late one, and the early one's not fantastic tasting, to be honest, but the late one is great. You can see there's plenty of strawberries in here, so I'm taking a lot of runners on this one as well. Probably another 20 runners, so I'm really excited for next year. I mean, I have enough strawberries here for me, but we don't have enough for me and Debbie, and we definitely don't have enough for cooking all through the year. So we have enough early in the year, but not late in the year. So what have I got here? So I've got some broccoli here, which is doing pretty nicely. I did have this under cover, I've just taken the covers off. We've got plenty of broccoli on Debbie's plot and Jenny's plot as well. I've got some more spring onions here, so these aren't quite as mature. As you can see, I've still got a bit of tidying up to do. I've been riding my bike a lot instead of coming to the allotment. So we've got some sprouts, which are doing pretty well. Been eating sprouts for a few weeks now. And as you can see, quite nice. Quite a lot of white fly on these, but it doesn't seem to be affecting the sprouts, so can't really complain. So I think that's, oh no, I thought it was the end of the tour, but just 2 more beds. So we've got some more carrots for storage here, although one of them's gone to seed, and then we've got loads more spring onions in here. So I hope I've got enough spring onions. I probably haven't, but I've done my best to keep the spring onion crop going all year round. So I just pop over now and we will have a look at my little greenhouse. So this is where most of my autumn stuff is. So not quite ready for planting out. So I've got some Novara lettuce, which is the red leafy lettuce that you just seen. Some Grenoble red. There's not much of that. It's not germinating fantastically, but I've got plenty of that. Some lamb's lettuce here. Another really good winter lettuce, Freckles here. Some more Grenoble red here. Doesn't look very red at the moment, but it changes over time. Some Marvel All Seasons here, which is looking, well, that's ready for planting now. I've got some spinach, so not far off ready for planting. Winter purslane, some more winter purslane here. I've got some more Novara here. I really don't like the Novara lettuce, it's one of my favourite lettuces, but it does suffer a bit from damping off, so I need some variety. I've got some more winter density here, a bit more Novara there, which wasn't very well looked after. It's kind of just neglected. There's no nutrients left in that compost, so it's just stalled. I've got some Mottystone here, which looks very much like the Freckles, but is a different variety. And then we've got some more Marvel of All Seasons here. We've got some Winter Purslane here. Not exactly clear whether Winter Purslane and Miner's lettuce are different things. They look the same, but just called different things. And then we've got Salanova greens and Salanova reds here, so they're looking fantastic. And I've got some Bijou here. Bijou is not renowned as a winter lettuce, but I'm going to try it under my new double-skinned coal frames. I've got some Winter Gem there, and I seem to have lost the label on this one, but I'm pretty sure that is charred or something like that. It's just some straggly little bits and pieces of cabbage and broccoli, so we will see. Maybe there's one cabbage there that's worth planting and two broccoli plants that are worth planting. And then I have got some more chard and a few more lettuces. I've got sort of wild rocket there, actually probably not worth planting. Some more Grenoble red. Some winter Miner's lettuce, which is ready for planting now. And this is Red Giant mustard, which is an amazing plant, and some more Red Giant mustard, so plenty of that. I've also got some of that planted at home, and so that is pretty much what's going on in the greenhouse. I have built myself a little stand here, which is more robust than it looks, for my greenhouse watering. And down here I've got 3 really big, just look at these pears, these are looking fabulous. 3 of my really big water butts, and they're all linked together, and I need this because there's no water on the allotment. Come the middle of August they switch it off for some reason, but so I ran out of water last year, and this year I've got one of these extra, and then I've got a water butt down there which you can maybe just see, and a little water butt there, so I've got twice as much as I had last year, and I haven't got, well, maybe I have about twice as much stuff growing as well, but anyway, we'll see how that goes. I've got another water butt there that kind of doesn't have a top at the moment, which I might be able to use somehow. So that, I think, is the end of my plot tour. So it's not quite as I wished to have showed you, because I really wanted to show you with more of my autumn planting done, but as it happens I've just left more stuff in the greenhouse, so that the things that I am pulling up, you know, some of these carrots for storage, some of these lettuces, some of these beetroot beds and things like that. There's lots of things that are going to get pulled up during September and early October and get replaced with my autumn planting. But anyway, hopefully that gives you a good idea. So with that, I will sign out from my plot, Steve's plot, and I think the next tour is next week. That's going to be Debbie's plot, and there's been a lot of activity on Debbie's plot, so looking forward to showing you all that. So I was just saying goodbye, but then I just saw golden purslane, which I've just picked loads of it. It's just been the best salad this year. I grew so little of it, but yeah, I'm going to grow a lot more of it next year. Highly recommended. So crunchy and sweet. It's really great. It does replenish. It takes a few days after a pick to grow back, but if I grew 10 times as much as this next year, I think it's going to be amazing. So highly recommended this summer purslane, golden purslane. Fantastic. So before I go, I thought I'd just give you a quick look at today's harvest. So pretty pleased with this today. I've got some spring onions, some leeks, French beans, kale, carrots. That's a smoothie mix there at the end. Some more kale, sprouts, and purple sprouted broccoli, runner beans, turnips and beetroot, selling over red lettuce, New Zealand spinach, New Zealand spinach, New Zealand spinach, New Zealand spinach. Nice cos red lettuce there, some Grenoble red and some oak leaf green, and some bijou lettuce there. And what's that one? That's salmon over green. And then this is spinach, Amazon spinach. We've only just started cropping real spinach again, so not too much of that. So there you go. And we add to that, of course, the stuff we've already picked. So radishes and potatoes and that sort of thing, which we've got at home. So there we go. Hope you enjoyed that quick tour, and I'll see you again soon.